Hello everyone, my name is Natalie. So I posted this video on TikTok and it absolutely blew up way more than any of my other videos ever have, and I've gotten so many comments on it, and so I decided that I wanted to make a video reacting to the comments and reacting to your guys' paranormal horror stories. I've been trying my very hardest to read through all of these and to like them and to respond to as many as possible, but it is so hard to keep up with it. I'm so sorry if I don't get to your comment, but I'm trying my very hardest. So this is actually a comment from someone that I used to work with. She said, driving home with my mother-in-law around 1 a.m. and something that looked like a person ran out and across the road in front of us. It was on all fours, galloping almost, then jumped into the hedges. Flesh runner. If you know, you know. That's terrifying. That's so scary. Another person, actually I used to work with this person too. Hatman was in my room once, screamed for my mom, and he smiled and disappeared. I was 12, and that image has been burned into my brain ever since. That's also terrifying. I've never had an experience with Hatman, and I don't know if I ever want to. I don't know if anyone ever wants to. Okay, this is also a person I used to work with. I promise I'm gonna get to like more people than just people I know. I was at the Anchorage in the attic using a laser grid. I was sitting in a chair and a girl in a white dress rushed at me on all fours, and I had a full panic attack. Went back downstairs and smelled fresh bread and roses. My mom used to work there when it was a nursing home, and she used to take care of a lady that wore rose perfume. Found out it was the same room she was in. That's so scary. I have been to the Anchorage so many times. I think I've been there maybe 5 or 6 times. I've never posted a video actually doing an investigation because most of the time I went it was a public hunt and you're not allowed to post. But I would, if you guys want to see me go back there and make a video, definitely let me know and I would try to go back there. My dead grandpa was yelling at me to wake up in a dream, and when I did, I found my infant, who's named after him, choking. He was purple when I found him. He's alive and well thanks to my grandpa. Your grandpa probably saved your baby's life, and I'm so glad that your baby is okay. I heard someone say, "Hey babe," in my husband's voice. He was asleep beside me, and the voice was coming from the hallway. Again, scary, probably a mimic. When I lived with my ex, his mother passed away when he was a child. I was trying to wake him up to start our day. Clear as day, I heard, "Leave my son alone." Another one on the Hat Man. The Hat Man, which seems to be common, which makes me feel less insane. He was only ever at my grandparents' house. He would sit on the edge of the bed and I would cry. But soon, this nice shadow lady sat on the edge of my bed and she scared him off. He'd never come close when she was there. She also made sure my feet were covered up and sung me a song to fall asleep. That's so nice of whatever that spirit is of the lady who was trying to take care of you and comfort you and protect you from the evil spirits and the evil entities. The night I found out my friend passed on a street bike, I was sleeping and something made me wake up, and standing in the doorway was him. He was pale, dressed in white, and didn't say anything. He was just saying goodbye. That's so sad. I'm sorry for your loss. One time I fell asleep on my parents' bed, had a dream that I was standing beside the bed watching myself sleep. Saw myself levitate and scared me awake. When I woke, I fell to the bed from levitating. That's terrifying. Could you imagine, like, I couldn't even imagine waking up and I'm like floating in the air, but my bed's already like super high off the ground, so that's scary. Okay, yeah. Anyways. My son told me he had good and bad friends. The bad friends keep telling him to come into the water with him, but his good friends always come in and yell for him to stay away from the bad ones. He woke up next to the pool we had in our backyard one night because his friend wanted to swim, but his good one woke him up and told him to find me. We got rid of the pool and put extra locks. Saged the house and he slept with me. They eventually went away, but his good friends still come around here and there. He says they always watch his back. No names, no faces, adults and kids, scary times. I must say your son is very lucky that he had the good friends that would tell him not to listen to the bad ones and not to go into the water. That's so scary, and it also made me think of a Supernatural episode. I love Supernatural. When I was a kid, we lived in these apartments. I saw the shadow figure trying to walk into my mom's room. However, me being just a kid, I yelled at it to leave them alone because they were sleeping. I later found out this apartment was haunted by a demon that my sister called Man-Man. Mom and my sister both have scars from being attacked by this thing. That's so terrifying! Oh my gosh! I woke up to 2 people having a conversation downstairs. I started walking down and they stopped. I searched the house for them and I was home alone. Called my mom and grandma and they were an hour away. I've also experienced something very similar, especially at night when I'm going to sleep and I will just be in the room, and especially if it's quiet, like it sounds like people are out in my living room or just out of my room talking, but I can never hear what they're saying. It almost sounds like a radio, but like it's not because I don't listen to the radios. When I lived with my dad, his house was haunted. I saw 3 body bags on the floor and I turned the light on. Nothing was there. And I saw an old priest standing in the corner of my dad's bedroom. That's absolutely terrifying. Then I said, yeah, we heard cats meowing in the halls and we went to investigate. Nothing was there. And the next night, I saw a woman crying in my dad's closet, and it was the most scariest thing. I moved out of the house, and that was the best thing I did. That is terrifying! There are so many spirits in your house. And it's crazy that you can see them. Was laying in bed, just got done watching Ghost Adventures, and put my headphones in and heard the name Aaron in my headphones. Look up and see a little ghost girl run out of my parents' room. And then my stepdad asked me the next morning if I was in his room, and I said no. He had bruises all over him. And then he said, I remember seeing a little girl's face not that far from my face. That little girl still haunts him to this day. She hasn't stopped, so I no longer go to that house. I lived in an old firehouse that burned down in the 50s and was rebuilt. I was washing dishes one night with my headphones in, and I felt like I was being watched. So when I turned around, there was a little boy covered in soot sitting in the middle of the kitchen floor, crisscross applesauce, just staring at me with the creepiest grin ever. I screamed for my dad. I moved back to my mom's shortly after, waking up with a bruise shaped like a hand around my wrist. That's terrifying, but I'm also very glad that you moved out. I went to Caro, West Virginia to the haunted tunnels, and something attached to me, and I got tormented as I slept for 3 nights. That's so scary too, because I've also been to the rail trail and I've been to the haunted tunnels. I've been to Tunnel 19, I've been to Eaton Tunnel. They are really cool. They are really cool tunnels. When I was 12, I woke up at 8 a.m. and saw a woman standing at the foot of my bed. Went right back to sleep and woke up like it was nothing. I don't know if it was a dream, but I still think about it. I had said that shadow people weren't really there, and that I'd know. Well, I was at work and looked out the window, and there was a shadow on the ground of a little girl with pigtails on a tricycle. Where the shadow was, there should have been a girl right there. There was no one outside, no little girls, nobody. I was like, I stand corrected. I was at my boyfriend's house, and his house was really dark, and I didn't think to turn the light on. I was walking into the kitchen, and I was about to turn on the light when I see a black figure standing by the fridge. His dad passed away in the house a couple years ago, but I turned the light on and didn't see it. I was very freaked out. Maybe his dad's there. Maybe his dad's just hanging around. My brother had seen things in an old trailer we lived in. A red-haired man with a red cape. It told him to kill us or he would. So my brother almost killed my sister. We moved out and the people after us saw a man with red hair a lot. He was in the car with the woman's husband trying to convince him to drive off the bridge. My aunt and cousins used to be haunted by this demonic devil thing with horns. One time my aunt heard my cousin screaming and my mom and aunt ran to see. It had my cousin hanging on the wall. I was working alone at an axe throwing place. I saw a 7-foot man in a top hat walk from one end of the building to the other. I was the only one there. Axes would fly off the shelves and hit the other side of the wall. When I tried to recreate it, I would have to forcefully shove the axe off the wall and kick it to ricochet off the wall. Activity slowed when I announced myself and knocked on the door when getting there. I don't know what was there before the strip mall, but it was obviously someone's home, so of course I'll announce myself. I now will always knock when entering a new place. That's so scary and also dangerous, especially since you're working in an axe throwing place. So like one night, myself, mom, a friend, his girlfriend, my cousin, and his girlfriend all went to these woods, and there were stories about a woman in white walking across the water. But we didn't even get halfway across the bridge because straight ahead was a pair of glowing red eyes, and we immediately got the uneasy feeling of being unwanted. We left. I was sleeping on a bunk bed, rolled over, and saw a fella with no head and blood dripping down his suit, just floating there. Rolled back over and went back to bed. I was 15. No drugs, just wasn't dealing with all that. That is terrifying. Oh my gosh, I could not have went back to sleep after that. In fact, I'd probably never sleep again. There's a spirit in my house that doesn't like me for some reason, and every time he sees me, he throws books and stuff at me. I've had spirits slam doors in my house when I'm home alone. You need to like get on the spirit's good side. Like you guys need to be like best friends. You need to make up. And maybe he'll like open doors for you instead of slamming them in your face. This comment just says they got dragged halfway across their bed. Like, oh my gosh, that's terrifying. I lived in a really old farmhouse with my mom and brother. Our rooms connected with a door. One night I watched a tall shadow walk from one side of my room and through the door to my brother's room. That's terrifying too, because I've also had similar experiences with a shadow figure when I was younger, walking into my sister's room, and I remember hiding under the bed. So if you guys want me to make a video sharing my experiences, comment down below because I would love to. I don't really have much, and they're definitely not as exciting as a lot of these comments are. I don't think I was scared, more shocked. 3 see-through men come out of the woods near the house. Come to find out, a neighbor of ours found 3 dead men when he went in the woods, like he always did on a daily basis. That is crazy too, because you definitely saw the spirits of those 3 men. Haunted house in San Diego, the Whaley House. I was 8 to 9, I went on a field trip and was so amazed at all the projectors in all the rooms, showing all the people and how they lived. There's no projectors. And I asked someone when I went in as an adult about the projectors, and they just looked at me all dumbfounded. Like, yeah, I just casually was seeing ghosts. Kids are more likely to be able to see spirits and see ghosts, so it would make sense that when you were on a field trip there that you would see those things. I've also always wanted to go to the Whaley House. That would be such a unique experience and a really cool place to investigate. Some friends played with a Ouija board. I did not participate. I'm white, but not that white. And afterwards, we babysat their cousin, and when I looked down the hall, I seen a little kid. She was staring at the wall, and when she was supposed to be napping, I went to put her back to sleep. I walked into the room, and she was still sleeping on the bed. I grabbed her and we all ran outside till the parents came home, where we told them we suspected someone broke in and they never found any evidence of someone being in there. We never told them the whole story. My best friend was staying the night at my trailer and I was sleeping and heard her scream "help me" outside and said my name and everything. Got my gun and went to walk outside when she walked out of the back bedroom. I live in New Minnesota and I knew it was a skinwalker. Yeah, something was definitely trying to lure you out of your house and pretended to be your friend. I was sleeping and woke up to 2 little girls laughing at the end of my bed. Literally the scariest thing ever. That is terrifying. Little girls laughing, and that's also part of one of my experiences. Well, it's actually not my experience, it's my grandma's experience at a house I used to live at. I saw a shadow person looking through the window at my sister's house. It was around midnight. My great-grandma decided she wanted to come with my mom and I on our Alaskan cruise. First night in Seattle, I wake up in the middle of the night and there in the corner of the room there's a shadow figure. I was so confused, not understanding if what I saw was real. Then this figure started walking past my bed, my mom's bed, and then disappeared. I ended up going to a medium months later and asked if that was my great-grandmother. Immediately, she said it was. She said that I knew exactly who it was when I locked eyes with that figure. She then told me to look back through my Alaskan cruise pics because my great-grandma is in one of the pics. She mentioned to the medium a reflective background. And I looked back and sure enough there's an orb in the pic of my mom and I with a window in the background. Listen, I'm glad you wanted to come, but you could have just not shown yourself to me as a shadow. Scared the shit out of me. That is so wholesome that your grandma just wanted to join you guys on your Alaskan cruise. That is so sweet. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up now, but if you did like this video and you want to see more videos like this of me reading my followers' paranormal stories or my subscribers' stories, let me know down below. And if you have any scary stories you want to share or you want me to share, comment them down below and I will definitely make that happen and I will make a video of that. So thank you guys so much for watching and I will see you guys in the next video.